Chapter 20. The colonel abruptly turned back to the crate. "Open the box," he ordered, his voice still livid with anger. "Open the box at once." Yuri came forward and opened the lock that held the latch. He lifted the lid and reached inside the box to help Nikolai stand to his feet. It had only been 3 days since Nikolai had been put into the box, but by now his legs were already like rubber. He tried to stand without wavering, but he couldn't. The strength was just not there. With so few days between the stints in the box, he had slowly lost the ability to recuperate quickly, and each time his legs would atrophy a little more. "Here, lay him in this pile of straw over here," the colonel barked, and get him a drink of water. He waved his hand to ward off the flies and the stench that was permeating the shed. "And bring a bucket of water so he can clean himself up." The colonel turned to Nikolai and shook his head again. "What's your name, young man?" "Panchuk, sir. Nikolai Panchuk." The officer continued, looking kindly at Nikolai. "Is it true what the warden says, that you won't work?" "No, it's not true." Nikolai swallowed some of the water from the cup Yuri handed him. "I will work. I'll work harder than all the other prisoners, if need be. I'll get up early and stay up late every night, but I can't dishonor God and work on his holy Sabbath day." The colonel raised his eyebrows. "The seventh day of every week is God's Subbatot." Nikolai continues, seeing the opportunity to witness once again about his beloved Sabbath. "I was raised to keep it holy, and I can't violate my conscience, sir. On the seventh day of each week, I cannot work because it would be disobeying the commands of God." Nikolai wanted to be respectful of the officer, but right now he was lying in a pile of straw. It was hard to stand at attention or salute the colonel while lying prostrate on the stable floor. The nervousness showed on his face. "At ease, prisoner," came the colonel's reassuring command as he stared down at Nikolai. "What did you do for a living before you came to this camp?" "I was a pastor, sir. It was it's why I was sent here in the first place, because I wouldn't turn over a list of my church members to the KGB." Nikolai's voice wavered and then almost broke with emotion as he added, "I could not, sir. It would have betrayed the confidence my members had placed in me as their spiritual leader." Nikolai felt strange. Why was he bearing his soul to this unknown army officer? He felt chagrined and relieved at the same time. He couldn't explain it, but somehow it seemed the right thing to do at this point. "So you will work, but you won't work on Saturdays. Your subota, as you call it?" "Yes, sir. I'll work hard, before sunup and well after dark, to make up for the time I miss on Saturdays." The colonel looked at the warden. "Do you have a job like this? One that can be done on some days and not others? A job that can be done in fewer days if this man works more hours each of the other days?" The warden thought for a long moment. "Well, there is the water that needs to be brought from the spring a kilometer away." He glanced at the colonel. "We need barrels of water, and it usually takes a man and ox 7 days of hauling it to bring enough water for the camp. Enough for drinking water, cooking, and any washing the men need to do." The warden looked at Nikolai lying in the straw and then at the colonel. "I suppose we could give that a try. The man doing it now works from dawn to dusk and barely has enough time to bring the 9 or 10 barrels of water we need on average per day. If Panchuk wants to get up and work before dawn each day and then work after dark, maybe he can manage to bring enough by Friday night. I doubt it, but we can give it a try." The warden had a cynical look in his eye, but he chose his words carefully in front of the colonel. The officer brightened. All right then, Penchuk. It's a deal. Let's see what you can do. Tomorrow is Tuesday. The warden says that if you can bring enough water by Friday night, you can have your day off. 5 days of work in 4. If you can do it, then Saturday is a free day. And then the colonel got a serious look in his eye as he looked straight at Nikolai. But if you can't keep up your end of the bargain, you're going to have to haul water on Saturdays. 2. Your subata, as you call it. Are we clear on this? Absolutely. I'm curious, Penchuk. Colonel searched Nikolai's face. Although it was filled with pain, it held the peace of heaven. You've been so stubborn in refusing to work on your subata, he continued. What happens if Saturday comes and you still don't have enough water? We've got a deal, and yet somehow I get the feeling that you would probably still choose to go into the box and work and violate your holy day. Nikolai thought about the question before answering, the kindest Russian military official he had ever met. He chose his words carefully because he wanted to honor the colonel's faith in him and the warden's willingness to give him a chance to prove himself. If I honor my God, he will honor me, sir. He knows I wish to worship him in prayer and quiet meditation on that day. So I am placing my confidence in him, that he will give me the strength to complete the challenge. I will work half the night, if need be, just to complete my part of the bargain, and secure for myself the right to worship my God on that day. You know, I believe you will. The colonel nodded and smiled kindly. The man's generosity made Nikolai feel warm inside, and it gave him hope that everything would turn out for the best after all. It seemed that this was the break he had been hoping for, the chance he had been wanting for 2 years, a chance to show everyone the sovereignty of his God. Nikolai rested the remainder of the day, trying to limber up and get his knees to work again. By nightfall, he felt pretty good. However, as he lay on his bunk that night in the barracks, he thought about the distance to the spring. It had to be about a kilometer, maybe a little more. What would be almost 3 kilometers each round trip? Nikolai figured it would take more than 2.5 to 3 hours for each load of water. From what he had seen, the ox cart carried 2 barrels at a time. So that meant he needed to haul 5 loads a day to bring the quota of water per day. But he needed to haul enough water for Saturday's supplies too. There was no question about it. Nikolai knew he was going to have to haul at least 1 or 2 extra loads a day to make it. With his mind whirling, he took time to pray before dozing off. Lord, help me not to worry. Help me to have the energy I need to take on this amazing challenge. It is truly a challenge straight from the courts of heaven.